Blood diamonds. The name itself evokes images of brutality and greed. Extracted through violence and exploitation, they fuel conflicts and fund dictators. From Sierra Leone to Zimbabwe, blood diamonds leave shattered lives. Traded to fund rebel groups and corrupt regimes, robbing nations of resources, trapping communities in poverty, the Kimberley process aims to prevent conflict diamonds, yet the fight continues and the true cost remains high. In the early 2000s, hope emerged from the soil of eastern Zimbabwe. Chiyadzwa, once known for agriculture, became synonymous with diamonds. The discovery sparked global excitement. It seemed a chance to turn fortunes around. The potential was undeniable. Experts estimated billions in diamonds. For a nation in hardship, this was a godsend. The government promised prosperity and development. Schools, hospitals, and infrastructure were promised. The world watched with cautious optimism. However, the hope and optimism surrounding Chiyadzwa were short-lived. The glitter of diamonds soon revealed a dark underbelly of exploitation, violence, and corruption. The government, instead of being a responsible steward of this newfound wealth, morphed into a predatory force, seizing control of the mines and unleashing a reign of terror on the local population. Forced labor became the norm in the Chiyadzwa diamond fields. Men, women, and even children were rounded up, often brutally, and forced to work in perilous conditions. The mines, lacking proper safety regulations, became death traps, claiming countless lives. Those who dared resist or speak out faced the full wrath of the state apparatus. Disappearances, torture, and extrajudicial killings became commonplace, silencing any dissenting voices and shrouding Chiyadzwa in a blanket of fear. The once hopeful atmosphere transformed into one of oppression and despair, as the government, driven by insatiable greed, turned the diamond fields into a nightmare for its people. Section 4, The Human Cost, Chiyadzwa's Devastated Communities. The impact of the Chiyadzwa blood diamond trade extended far beyond the barbed wire fences of the mines. Entire communities were decimated, their social fabric torn apart by violence, displacement, and the erosion of trust. The very land that sustained them was ravaged by mining operations, leaving behind a scarred and polluted landscape. Families were torn apart as forced labor pulled individuals away from their homes and loved ones. The psychological trauma inflicted on those who endured the horrors of the mines left deep scars on the community's collective psyche. The influx of money, instead of bringing prosperity, fueled inflation and corruption, further impoverishing the already vulnerable. The diamonds, meant to be a blessing, became a curse, leaving behind a legacy of shattered lives and broken dreams. The story of Chiyadzwa stands as a stark reminder of the devastating human cost of blood diamonds, a cost borne not by faceless entities, but by real individuals and communities. Section 5, A World Watches International Response and Sanctions. As reports of atrocities in Chiyadzwa emerged, the international community could no longer ignore the cries for help. Human rights organizations documented the abuses, their findings painting a grim picture of government-sanctioned brutality and exploitation. The Kimberley process, established to prevent the trade of conflict diamonds, came under scrutiny for its failure to address the situation in Zimbabwe. Pressure mounted on the Zimbabwean government to address the human rights violations occurring within its borders. Targeted sanctions were imposed on individuals and entities complicit in the illicit diamond trade. However, the response from the international community remained fragmented, with some countries hesitant to take a strong stance against the Mugabe regime. The debate over how to effectively address the issue of blood diamonds, balancing economic interests with ethical considerations, continued to rage on the global stage. Chiyadzwa became a test case, highlighting both the complexities of the issue and the urgent need for a more robust and unified international response. Section 6, A Legacy of Pain, A Call for Change. Years after the initial discovery, the legacy of Chiyadzwa's blood diamonds continues to haunt Zimbabwe. While the situation has improved somewhat since the removal of Robert Mugabe from power, the road to recovery remains long and arduous. The scars of exploitation run deep, and the fight for justice for the victims and their families continues. The story of Chiyadzwa serves as a stark reminder of the urgent need for transparency and ethical practices within the diamond industry. Consumers, too, must become more discerning, demanding to know the origins of their diamonds and refusing to be complicit in a trade that thrives on human suffering. By choosing ethically sourced diamonds, we can help break the link between these precious stones and violence, ensuring that they become symbols of love and joy, not pain and oppression. Only then can we truly eradicate the scourge of blood diamonds and build a world where every sparkle represents hope, not horror.